Current shows. Okay, this is where things get interesting. We've been watching, most of us have been watching, all the shows that are out right now. Whether it's She-Hulk, Andor, Cobra Kai, House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, shows like that. With She-Hulk, let's go in release order. So She-Hulk, it started out great. First 2 episodes, they had that comedy, but they also had that action from the MCU. Not necessarily action, just MCU-oriented stuff. Whether it's the Hulk training She-Hulk, him trying to convince her to become a superhero, like that kind of stuff. And then you have the comedy they're trying to throw in with the courtroom, and the wedding. It's just a lot of filler going on. She even said it herself. This is a self-contained wedding episode. So I wouldn't, She-Hulk's been okay, and that's really where I'm at with it. At this point, I'm just waiting for Daredevil to show up, and I might just wait for the scenes to come on YouTube. It's just waiting till midnight to watch these She-Hulk episodes. It's not worth it, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool to see Wong. I like that, Wong likes The Sopranos. That's about it. Homeboy Reese, what was his name? Reese from Entourage, the director. He was in episode, was it 4 as the magician? That was cool, but only because the homeboy was from Entourage. And just with the way they're handling the characters is not really where I'm at with the MCU. I want more secret invasion type of, like a thriller type of element. It's just, and then like the humor is just not that great. It's just Megan Thee Stallion and all that. I'm good. I don't want to talk shit about the show. It's just because there's a lot of bashing going on regarding the show, right? It's woke, blah blah blah. It's underwritten, blah blah blah. It's too short. There's a lot of reasons why people aren't liking the show. She-Hulk, where's Hulk at? It's just fine. The show's fine, but the She-Hulk's CGI is not fine. It just takes me out of it. I wish they did like a Gamora type of thing, like with paint. Maybe because they enhance her body, right? But maybe her face could be like real, and then she could have paint on or something. I don't know. I just think they could have went about the visual aesthetic of She-Hulk a little bit better, especially if you're putting all this stock into a series. Everybody's getting a series now, but you got to step up your game, Marvel Studios. We know all about the VFX houses getting overworked. They're having to push movies back 7 months, 9 months. They're backed up with VFX. They're working long hours. There's no union for VFX artists. So it's just, we're in a weird spot right now when it comes to VFX. How reliant these movie studios are on VFX. They're not wanting to build practical sets, and when they do, it's very minimal. That's my main issue with Marvel Studios. They always set dress like the very front of the set, and then in the background, just boom, blue screen. So it's just tacky. DC's somewhat guilty of this. However, like a Zack Snyder type, he hides it better. Where you place things on the set, it really matters. Color grade matters, and that's just a whole nother conversation. So, She-Hulk's been fine. She-Mid's been fine. What else came out next? Was it House of the Dragon? Is one of the best shows out on television right now. The visual quality, the writing has been really solid. Every episode you're like, holy shit, what's going on? They're about to switch the cast up, like they're switching it up. Every storyline's been like really captivating. You care about every character and their story, and that's how you know the show is good. When it comes to Rings of Power, I don't really care much about the Harfoots or whatever, and the elves are lit. It's very selective when it comes to Rings of Power. The scope of Rings of Power is great. The story lines, the episode lengths are fine. It's just the pacing of the story itself and the story they're presenting and the way the editing is. It's been fair. It's fine. I do like House of the Dragon a little bit more, and then Rings of Power. It's just more violent, gritty, And there's nothing. I would always recommend Rings of Power to people if they think Game of Thrones is too violent. It's like a step below as far as it's not TV mature. It's definitely more fantasy. It's just if you don't I'm not invested in the Tolkien lore like that. And it's cool to see the maps and where everything is, because there definitely is a lot of locations in Rings of Power compared to the House of the Dragon. It's just this is how many episodes? We're 4 episodes in, or 5 episodes in, and there's only 8 episodes, and they're just now getting on their merry way and to meet up and fight whatever they're setting up to fight. Each faction they're finally on the same. They don't know it, but we know it. They're all on the same path to kind of meet up with each other, to team up, to fight Sauron is what I'm assuming. Sauron, however they say it. It's just dude, something about. I don't want to compare. I don't like comparing Rings of Power and House of the Dragon because they're similar and they're not similar. They're similar in length, meaning that they're an hour and some change each, which means you're gonna get a nice thick story. They're not going to cut corners. They're taking their time, which I love. Because if you're going to do an 8 episode season, you better come correct with the episode lengths. Let's talk about Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. Let's talk about Cobra Kai. 10 episodes. However, I just said I like longer episodes. Cobra Kai storytelling is 30-minute episodes. But within that 30 minutes, every single scene counts, and they all hit, and they ramp you up. And by the time you reach the end of an episode of Cobra Kai, it's the same thing like House of Dragon. It's bro, what is happening? What's going to happen next? But it's a different pace than a House of Dragon. It's like the opposite. It's like taking pre-workout. Cobra Kai is like taking pre-workout, and you're getting all this information within 30 minutes, and it's the equivalent of a House of the Dragon episode, just crammed in, not really crammed, but just in 30 minutes, and it's boom, 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 like fighting. It's fast. It's just like the information, the way they interchange the old movies with the new movies, they overlap, flashbacks. Every character gets fleshed out more. Terry Silver's story got fleshed out more. You can tell they care about it. They're not ignoring movies. I bet you money Hilary Swank's coming back in season 6. She's from the next Karate Kid. It's just they're not scared of their history. They're not embarrassed by their history. They're not trying to rewrite stuff like some of these franchises. Halloween. Cobra Kai is just really solid, and to me, Cobra Kai is the best. Over. As far as on the air right now, like Stranger Things and Cobra Kai are head to head, but we're not talking about Stranger Things right now. We're talking about shows that are currently on the air. Cobra Kai just debuted; all the episodes are there. I could include Sandman, but I'm not going to include Sandman. Just current shows. My rank is the following: number 1, Cobra Kai. Number 2, House of the Dragon. Oh, I forgot one. One that just started. We need to talk about Andor. Andor. First 3 episodes are out. It's a mix-up. It's a shake-up. Toss-up. Andor has a great aesthetic. Blade Runner vibes. A lot of rain effects. A lot of fog kind of thing going on. It's violent off-screen, but they know how to build tension. I'll give them that. It's shot better than Obi-Wan and and Boba Fett for sure, for sure. It's just 30-minute episodes, and unlike Cobra Kai with the really cohesive story in 30 minutes, Andor has 3 episodes stretched out to make time for 3 episodes, is what it feels like. 90 minutes is basically an episode of House of the Dragon, and 90 minutes is the 3 episodes of Andor. I would have liked if those 3 episodes were edited down into 1 hour episode, because we really, it doesn't cover a lot of ground in the first 3 episodes of Andor. It was a very, I'm not going to go into spoilers, it's just a very cut and dry kind of thing. He starts here, and then this is where he's leading. It's very, and the director said that they shot this season in 3 episode parts, so it's kind of whack that they're giving the first 3 episodes to us, and now they're doing the 1 episode a week thing, which is only 30 minutes, when we know the intention of the show is to be in 4 3-episode parts, making up the 12 episodes. So just drop 3 episodes each week so we get the arcs. But I don't know, dude. Disney's been weird. Lucasfilm, Marvel Studios, they like these 30-minute episodes. And these people you don't have to stay up till midnight or wherever you are. It's just, you have to watch it. Or you're going to get spoiled. And if it's worth watching, you're definitely going to want to watch it as soon as possible. But yeah, Andor, I'm not going to say it's better than Obi-Wan and Boba Fett. It's shot better, but as far as the story, and what we're getting out of it, I don't know if it's better just yet. I like that it's got its own kind of vibe. As far as where Andor is going to end up going, and like the guy that's recruiting him, the Cassian Andor, he says, Andor, you got to come with me, Cassian Andor. Like, bro, what? From the trailer, we know this dude's like leading a double life. He's like a high up in command, like Senate type, and then now he's doing runs with Andor. So I like that kind of a partner type of vibe. Like, I've heard somebody say it's like Zorro, kind of passing the torch kind of thing. They set up some intrigue with these 3 episodes of Andor. I just think the pacing could have been a little bit better. Maybe make that 1 long episode, not 3. But that's kind of a systemic problem with Disney Plus. Not really. That's just a format that they have to go with. That seems like it's a mandate. Every one of these shows is 30 minutes. So, and that's probably a mandate across Disney, Marvel Studios, and Lucasfilm. That's the only thing I can think of. Or else, why not give us hour-long episodes? They want to stretch it out. They're filming these like movies, and then they're chopping them up in like 30 minutes. Dude, it's not. It's a series. So treat it like a series. And that's another thing with She-Hulk. I'm not even gonna start. Okay, so my rankings. Number 1, Cobra Kai. Number 2, House of the Dragon. Number 3, Andor. And number 4, Rings of Power. And number 5, She-Hulk. To me, that's where I'm at with the series, with all these shows. Some of them are short. Some of them are long in duration. But what matters is the pacing and the quality of story you're getting within those 30 minutes, within that hour. If it's an hour and a half, and if it's an hour and a half and nothing's going on, and everything is stretched out, and you get from 1 hour, at the end of that hour, you don't really learn anything, then I can see why people say, oh, well, it's slow and nothing's going on. It's like, well, no shit. But then you got Cobra Kai, 30 minutes and a bunch of information, tension all there. You're on pre-workout. It's just a different vibe. So some of these episodes can get away with 30 minutes. And then some you can't. And then I'm hearing that Netflix is wanting to do all weekly, because they already have weekly shows on Netflix. There's a lot of channels out here that, oh, they all need, every show on Netflix needs to be weekly. Like, no, dude. I liked watching Sandman all the way through. I could knock it out in the weekend. I don't have to wait a week after week. Especially if it's only like 8 episodes. 9, 10 episodes. Cobra Kai. I knocked out Cobra Kai on a Friday night. It was lit. 30-minute episodes. 10 episodes. Do the math on that. It's like watching a movie or two. It's a whole experience. Watching Stranger Things all the way through the weekend is an experience. It's a different type of weekly experience. But only the people worried about analytics and marketing and those are the only people that care about a weekly to weekly basis, because they can keep funding their content and keep chugging along, and they're saying, oh well, it'll be a water cooler show. And dude, people like to talk about the whole season. We're not in 1997 anymore. We don't need week to week. The CW. We don't need 22 episodes of The Flash, where fucking a half of it's filler, because they have to make a fucking 22 episode arc. They could cut it down to 12 to 15, like Superman and Lois. Way better storytelling. I'm not even caught up on the Superman and Lois. You got to make it count. So I'm anti-weekly, dude. I want all these shows to drop like movies. Just put it all out. Boom. Drop it. Boom. And people will watch it. I get it. Oh, if it's week to week, then you can keep your ads on, and it'll keep the show in the conversation. There's too much of that to keep in the conversation. Do you have all these shows like on simultaneously, and you're supposed to tune in at these times every week? Back in the day, you might watch 1 or 2, and now you have to watch like 6 to 8 all at once. So you can prioritize. I'm gonna watch Cobra Kai. Boom, Friday night. Boom. Then that's it. That's like the majority. Then you have some other weekly things. I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I on the wrong side of this? I don't like weekly shows. Yeah. Oh, you get to see what happens next week. No. Not in the binge era. Not when I could watch all of The Sopranos immediately. And granted, it wasn't. They did drop it week to week. But you know what? We're not, like I said, it's not 2007 anymore. Drop the whole season, guys. Quit hiding the goods. Let's see it. Thank you, Cobra Kai, for giving us an awesome 10-episode series. Thank you, Stranger Things. How many hours of Stranger Things, the last season of Stranger Things? We got like 1.5 hour episodes, 2 hour episodes. Yes, dude. Creative, it's different, it's not the same, and that's why it's awesome. That's why it's unique. They're taking chances. Now, if they did weekly, I would be upset, but it's not like a big thing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could deal with it like this, like how I'm dealing with it now, but at least I have the option with other shows to do a full binge. So, I don't know, dude. I would not be happy about it, but it's not that big of a deal, is it? What do you guys think? Do you want to binge a whole series or a season in a weekend? Or do you want to have a water cooler conversation week to week, where it's been so whack, and they're drawing it out. It's like, fuck, how many more episodes of this? Like, we barely got anything interesting. Like, week to week, disappointed week to week. Or do you want to be disappointed in one weekend if it sucks, like Resident Evil? They dropped the whole season 1 of Resident Evil, and people had the opportunity to watch however many episodes they wanted to, and that will gauge if it's a good show. Some people are like, oh, I only made it 1 episode and I tapped out. Netflix knows that, how many people watched which episode. It's like, oh shit, 80% of people are only watching the first 2 episodes. Ooh. But then you got like Game of Thrones over here, House of the Dragon. 22 million viewers or something. And it goes up 2% every week. Is that different or the same? Because eventually you'll have that chart of ratings, but when you drop a whole season in one weekend, you'll know by end of the weekend how many people watched it and the percentage of people that finished it. Yeah, 99.9% finished Sandman or something, then they know they have a hit on their hands. But if you got like a Resident Evil, 60% or 50% finished the whole season. That to me seems like the better way to look at whether a show is successful or not. Oh, you gotta wait for people to come and people to find it. No, dude. They're spending millions of dollars to market these things. So if they're not marketing it well to hit the first time, and you have to wait 2 months for people to find it, it's not great. It's not great. It doesn't cost money for Netflix to put their movie on the front page on their own site. But sometimes they're dropping so much stuff, it doesn't make it to the newly released section. It's like way in the back or whatever. Whatever the excuse is, it doesn't pop up for some people. That's the excuse. Oh, I didn't see it. I had to search around and it popped up and whatever. You can either like it, a weekly thing, or, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. What do you guys think? Weekly shows versus weekly binges. That's it.